Okay, I have no script, but this is what I want to talk about. I watched a video about Yotsuyu from Final Fantasy 14. I'm not gonna watch it and then react to it. You could just go watch and give that person those views. They did a very good job in the video. But the crux of it that I want to respond to, I feel like I would just want to talk about, is the fact that the uploader says something. She says only traumatized people can really identify with this character. Only specific people really understood it. And these are the kind of people who would say that Yotsuyu did nothing wrong, and they'll say the same for other characters. Like, I guess Garrosh Hellscream from World of Warcraft would be some other example. But basically, but both are within the same sentiment. You have two characters who had terrible circumstances, who were abused, who had no sort of positive intervention in their lives to assist them, and were somewhere left to fend for themselves. And what I keep seeing people say whenever they bring up Yotsuyu specifically is that her actions what happened to her does not justify her cruel actions. I actually just completely disagree with that. Because inevitably when you abuse people, and you abuse a lot of them, one of them will fall through the cracks and they will gain power. And they will have complete justification to fight back. I believe that there's nothing wrong with this. I believe that they are completely right in doing this. I believe it's the most divine form of justice for this to happen. Because even within people have talked about this topic to death, but Doma created this environment for Yotsuyu, and they don't really seem to be sorry. And so that's why she really did it. Yotsuyu did what she did. And really, when I see people dismiss this, saying that it does not justify her actions, I have to point out these young children who are bullied in school, who are never rescued or defended by their teachers or their peers until they start fighting back. I'm sure you've seen it yourself, either on social media or personally, or maybe it happened to you. When you were in school, some kid is getting bullied. Nobody intervenes until the victim starts fighting back. Then the teacher swoops in like Superman to save the day of the bully for some reason. But not you. They didn't save the person who was being abused. That person does not get help. They're not allowed to fight back. So I believe this is a very terrible thing. And when I see people try to say that this does not justify the response that characters like Yotsuyu have, such violent, aggressive, in some cases sadistic responses to their abuse, I think that's completely wrong. I think when you say that, you're just adding on to the abuse, saying that you're not allowed to fight back. You're supposed to just take the abuse. I don't think that anyone should be taking the abuse. I believe that what we've done to young people and what we've done to victims of abuse like this who fight back is completely wrong. I believe that part of becoming a man is the ability to stand up for yourself. Now, I'm speaking as a man. I'm sure women have some variation of this. Women should stand up for themselves as well. But from my perspective as a man, you should stand up for yourself. Because whenever I see cases of children being bullied, the victims I most see are men. People will not put up with a girl being abused in such a way. At least I'd hope not. From what I've witnessed in my own experiences, and from what I've read and watched over my life, people will more easily intervene to protect and defend women and girls than they ever will for boys and men. So with Yotsuyu, it's very easy to want to defend her because she is a good-looking woman, and you see her as Suyu, and you see that child that was the childhood that was robbed of her innocence, and it's very easy to defend her like that. But when you see a man in the same situation, he's grumpy, he's bitter, maybe he has power, maybe he doesn't have power, it's very easy to dismiss him and to not care about him. But this is not completely true either. As I mentioned earlier, there are characters like Garrosh Hellscream in World of Warcraft, who is a man, he's an orc. He doesn't even look like a human. Like, orcs to us humans look like monsters and beasts. They're not nice-looking people. But people still sympathize with Garrosh Hellscream. They said Garrosh did nothing wrong. And I agree with those people too. Garrosh did not have the help he needed to succeed. He was simply thrown to the wolves, and he was blamed for failing, just like Yotsuyu and every other abuse victim is. I believe there's nothing wrong with fighting back against people who have wronged you. Now, the aspect of whether or not they deserve mercy is up to the person who was abused. It's their privilege to grant. I don't think trying to deny them that much too is good. I think you're just justifying abuse even further. Like, you're telling someone you were abused, but you should take it, and you shouldn't hit us back. And they always say this after you have power. They never say this when you're weak. It's only when you fight back when they show you any sort of respect and any sort of boundary, and they're sorry. It means they don't really mean it. And unfortunately, people have to fend for themselves. You have to stand up for yourself. You can't really rely on people to save you. And we keep seeing this with every single time we see characters like Yotsuyu, or in fiction or in real life. We do not really defend people enough. People are way too willing to simply watch as people are abused like this, are victimized like this, and we don't even let these people stand up for themselves. So how could we possibly say that they are wrong for wanting to stand up for themselves? I disagree with that completely, and I think it's disgusting that basically the general consensus is that you cannot fight back and you're supposed to be abused. And both in real life and in fiction, I keep seeing these interpretations. I think that's completely wrong. I hate that we've become this way. We've not allowed men and women to stand up for themselves because of this, particularly men specifically. I think people are more understanding of women. They're more sensitive to women. They're more willing to listen to them, to take their issues seriously. For men in particular, no one really cares, to be blunt, just to rip the Band-Aid off. But so like, at the very least we should do is allow them to stand up for themselves. So like, this character of Yotsuyu resonated with me specifically. Like, sometimes characters you just really get you. People are traumatized. They are filled with hatred and are never shown love. So they act out and do this sort of thing that Yotsuyu did until she became Tsuyu for a while and met Gosetsu, who, if he had encountered Tsuyu as a child, he would have saved her and none of this would have happened. And really, there's nothing stopping people from real life doing this to prevent their own Yotsuyus from popping up all over the world in real life. All you need to do is say hi to someone, show them compassion, treat them like a human being. You're a human, so you can treat them like a human, right? You know, that kid who's lonely in school, who everyone thinks is going to shoot up the place. If you know that this person might shoot up the place and you think that, then why not connect to this person so that doesn't happen? Say hi, check in. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to be their best friend. Just make them feel welcome and seen. Make them feel like they belong. Make them feel like they're a person. Don't shame them for liking things they like within reason, I suppose. Sometimes some things are wrong. So maybe you should steer them away from that if it really is the case, because they just want to be happy like everyone else, and they're not getting that happiness, and that's really what they need. They need that care and affection in order to heal and to become better people. I believe we saw this with Yotsuyu specifically in her short time as Tsuyu, and really when Asahi brings her back into Yotsuyu, to put it that way, it's just a way of showing that he reopened that wound, and that's what got her to revert to that. So we need to be very careful with people like this. Not, even after, say in the best case scenario where a person who is traumatized is healed, you should not be trying to reopen these wounds and to bring up that sort of thing, terrible past experience, or else they can revert to that and all that will be for nothing. These are very hurt individuals. I think when people see a wounded animal, like a dog for example, we understand that they need love, care, and affection to recover. But if even these animals, if you expose them to the same things that, like an abusive environment again, they'll revert back to that state where they're either they stay away from people, or they try to bite people, or to defend themselves because they've been abused. We recognize this very clearly when an animal needs it, but when a human needs it, all of a sudden it's a matter of how attractive they are, I suppose. Like, I'm guilty of this, like Yotsuyu. Well, first off, when we first meet her, she's nothing like, we didn't know her backstory. She was an evil, beautiful woman. So I guess people were attracted to that to begin with. And then it wasn't until she reemerged a few patches later as Tsuyu with Gosetsu, where we really got to see what her story was. And really, that people's perception changed because of this, obviously. We didn't see the full picture yet. Now we do. We have a full, complete, beautiful story that I believe is very accurate and resonates with people. Her story was tragic, but really, it should be taken as a cautionary tale. We need to treat people who are traumatized, who may be violent and sadistic, and are vicious towards social interactions, as people who have been wounded and need to be healed. And we can't heal them with therapy or medications. That's not really the answer. In some cases, it is the answer, but that's not all. That's not what actually heals people. What heals them is care and affection and love. Someone who's traumatized needs to be shown that the whole world is not like this. That they can be healed through love and affection and care, and to surround themselves. We need to surround these people with people who will care for them genuinely, not because it's their job, but people who simply choose to be with them, who actually likes being around them. But if we keep rejecting these people as damaged goods, it's never going to happen. And really, we don't deserve to complain when these people lash out against us. Like, I don't know, I'm sure you've heard his quote over on the internet at some point, one time or another, something that goes, it goes like this: those who are scorned by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth, or something like that. Or those who never feel the warmth of the village will burn it down to feel its warmth, or some variation of that. I don't know the source of this. I've looked it up once. It said it was an African proverb, so that's the best I've got. But I keep seeing it brought up over the internet for discussions like this, so I thought it was relevant here, because it is relevant. It's what we keep seeing happen over and over again. And the sad part about this is that mankind never learns its lesson. There are many people like this. I'm sure there are many people like this across history too. We don't hear about them all, though. They simply die alone. They don't make any history. Or maybe they hurt others. Like we've had school shootings a lot in America, like for, I guess, a few different reasons. But really, I feel like those could have all been prevented. So maybe some people were too far gone. It's true, that's the thing that can happen. But like you're not born too far gone. It takes a while to be too far gone. It's like every single day, every single interaction is a chance to prevent all of these things by simply caring for our fellow man. But people just choose not to do this because they see these people who are hurt and they treat them like they are monsters. And then they simply become monsters because that's the way the world treats them. And they resent that, so they lash out. And it makes sense for them to lash out. It's not irrational at all. It makes perfect sense. So instead of complaining and trying to justify their abuse and saying that it doesn't justify them lashing out, we should be showing compassion to these people. We should stop trying to judge them and saying, well, it doesn't justify that. But that's not really, you're still dismissing their problems if you do this. So I don't think that's the right approach. So I write stories, and really stories like this resonate with me, and I write them myself. Recently, I created a project for a story I intend to tell, with a character like this, I suppose, dealing with topics like this. You can check it out if you wish in the description. There's a prototype out now. It's called Echoes of Zero. I wrote 2 smaller projects before, with similar subjects. My game studio I'd like to write characters about this sort of topic, about lonely people, and different aspects of that. It's not all negative. There are like just every aspect of that particular experience of a human being. Because I'd like to. I care about it. That's why I do it. I'd like to be able to show these stories to people as well, for them to see it, and for them to understand that it does not have to be this way. You should be standing up for yourself. You don't have to let people abuse you. I genuinely believe this. Whether that be people you know, or your boss, your family, your friends, your school, your teachers, your boss, or your very government, you shouldn't let people abuse you. Like, you need to stand up for yourself, for your own dignity as a human being, that you are worthy of, just by virtue of being alive. You should stand up for yourself. I think people will respect you more if you do this. Like, when people get into fights in school, and they do defend themselves, like before times where you could defend yourself in school, and you wouldn't, and like people would respect you. You even if you got suspended, you'd come back and people would think you were much cooler. Well, I'm saying this as a guy. I don't know. Some people will see you as a troublemaker, but if you were defending yourself, it's not the case. There are some people who will see, like, he stood up for himself against this guy who was bothering him, and that guy happened to be bothering me too. So I appreciate that somebody stood up to him. Like, I can't guarantee this will be the outcome, but I do. But at the very least, you have maintained your dignity as a human being. You don't have to let people abuse you. And really, I guess that's what this whole video, speech, or whatever is about. Human beings have so much potential, and if you allow people to shut you down and to treat you as you're lesser and you're not worthy of anything, then you're genuinely being hurt. Your entire life can be derailed because of this, by simply letting people put you down like this. So don't let it happen. You owe it to yourself. You are worthy of this, and if you show people you're worthy of this, then they'll see it too. So I encourage everyone to simply stand up for themselves whenever possible. You don't have to let people abuse you. Characters like you, because if it doesn't happen, then eventually people will fall through the cracks, and they'll have people like Yotsuyu, tyrants in control with power. Because you could abuse many people, but someday someone will fall through the cracks and they'll do things like that. There'll be tyrannical leaders who will torture their populace for turning a blind eye to their suffering. And they will not be wrong. It's justice. It really is. You might disagree with that. You might find it distasteful. But you have to ask yourself why. Why is that distasteful? Why would you in particular think that that's wrong? You have to ask yourself, did I contribute to this? Did I make this person angry? Did I hurt someone in my own life that would cause them to lash out to this? Because the fact that there are people who resonate with this character at all mean that there is some truth to it. It's not completely random fiction made of nothing. It comes from somewhere. It comes from real experiences that people experience in real life. So it means something. That's why it was so emotional in the game. That's where people cried too when they fought the Tsukuyomi and they heard Wayward Daughter. Those lyrics are brilliant. Brilliant. Because it directly means, like, if you listen to lyrics, like, the beast of the West comes, Xenos, and sees the Wayward Daughter, who doesn't really care if it's a beast, because the beast shows her care that nobody else does. So now the Sanctuary of the Moon, Tsukuyomi in this case, becomes an instrument of wrath, filled with bloodlust. Like, to summarize what I remember in my analysis of the lyrics of Wayward Daughter, the Tsukuyomi fight theme. So I guess to conclude, I really don't believe that it is productive to try to dismiss people who believe that Yotsuyu did nothing wrong, because I don't believe she did anything wrong. I don't believe that a victim of abuse lashing out against their abusers after everyone dismissed them and refused to help them and looked the other way is wrong. I can't say that. I won't submit and change my beliefs for that. So to those of you who have been abused, please stand up for yourself. You don't have to let this happen to you. Do whatever you have to do. Speak up for yourself. Leave if you have to, if you're in an abusive environment. You don't have to live this way. You're a human being, and you should be treated like a human being. If the people around you do not treat you that way, then you need to get away from them. It's not worth it. It will, like, your life will improve immediately when you get away from this abusive environment. People will not even recognize you. You'll revert. What will happen to you is that you'll revert back to your Suyu, your version of Suyu. This self of yours that was suppressed for years because of the abuse. This is something that will happen to you. So like, I believe I can confidently say that, because your entire being changes under these conditions. So if you leave them, then you'll go back to normal, so to speak. So I encourage you to take care of yourself and to not let people put you down like that. Thank you, and have a good day. That's all I have to say. Goodbye.